Michael Bruntz, Brian Christopherson from Bloomington, Indiana, where Nebraska fell to the Hoosiers 56-7 on Saturday. Lots to unpack here. We'll start with Matt Rhule's comments after the game. I think a lot of people didn't see that number coming. He was probably one of them.
Yeah, that's what he said. He thought they were going to play great. I think they knew Indiana was a tough test, and they really respected them, but they certainly thought, I think they could slow them down somewhat on offense. I don't think Indiana punted till the fourth quarter. Basically did as ever they wanted, was 7 of 7 on touchdowns in the red zone. And Matt Rhule was apologetic about the performance to fans that came here and fans, of course, that support the program. He didn't say this, but it felt like as bad as the Michigan game last year to me. It was just an embarrassing performance for Nebraska on a national, in a nationally televised game. And one of the things you could get to here was the defense. They just never had any sort of grip on anything.
Yeah, you mentioned the Michigan game last year. Nebraska was actually giving up about three yards per play more in this game than they did in that loss to Michigan last year late in the fourth quarter. So that kind of tells you where things were. But this was a game where Indiana was able to play the game outside the hashes, really neutralize Nebraska's defensive line and kind of what the advantage was thought to be coming into this game. And then Nebraska just tackled really poorly for most of the game and kind of compounded things. I mean, when you look at 5 rushing touchdowns, they scored on 4 of their first 5 offensive drives. Early on, Nebraska had a chance to make some plays and just wasn't able to get off the field. And it just kind of felt like, the only thing that basically stopped Indiana today was the game ended. I mean, they pretty much could have named their score if they wanted to.
Yeah, they could have. And on the other side of the ball, Nebraska's got to pick up the pieces in a hurry. They go to Ohio State, who you could argue is the best team in the country. I know they have a loss, but many people, I think, would say they're right up there. And this offense, they don't have a lot to hang their hat on right now, doesn't it feel like? You come out of the bye and you're kind of hoping it looks efficient and there's some precision. The perimeter blocking was bad. The timing was off in the passing game. Dylan Raiola looked uncomfortable, I thought, for most of the game. He ended up throwing 3 picks. Receivers sometimes weren't getting open, but this was an across-the-board failing, really, on the offensive side of the ball. They had 29 rushing yards at halftime on 14 attempts. There just wasn't a threat there. So they did some soul searching, I think, on stuff they could do better or wanted to eliminate during the bye week, but now you got to do it in a hurry before you play the Buckeyes, and it's not going to be easy to do because this was a performance, as we said at the top. I think some people thought Indiana could win the game, but not like this, and certainly Matt Rhule didn't think it was going to be like this.
Yeah, Matt Rhule mentioned having to play whack-a-mole with some of the issues that they've had this season. There's going to be a lot of those moles that they're going to have to figure out during practice this week. We'll have plenty on Husker247 from everything from Bloomington and then looking forward to next week at Ohio State.